Row Zero is an enterprise-grade spreadsheet built for big data. In this video, we'll show how to create dashboard slicers that filter multiple pivot tables and charts at once. To get started, I'll connect to Snowflake and import a sample dataset. Import a dataset of 7.2 million US flights. It's one row for each flight in the US for 1 year. The data imports into a connected table. From here, I can create my pivot tables and charts. Start with a pivot table on a new sheet, and I'm going to look at flight cancellations by month. So we'll pull date to rows and group on month. Then I want to look at the count of flights and the sum of cancellations. Okay, and I want to add a calculated column for cancel rate. So we're going to look at the cancel divided by the count to get the cancel rate. I can give this a label and format quick, and format these columns as well. Create a chart, insert chart, and let's put cancel rate on the right side. And I'm going to also rename the series label to total flights. Okay, now that I have my chart, I want to create another pivot table and chart so that I can demonstrate how to filter multiple pivot tables and charts at once. So I can easily just duplicate this pivot table to create another one right here. And I don't need my cancel rate anymore. Double click in here to edit. And I want to look at the, instead of sum of cancel, I'm going to look at the average flight delay. And let's also look at the 90th percentile flight delay. That's going to give us the 10% worst flights for that month. And let's format this guy real quick. And let's chart this as well. Okay. Okay, so I have two pivot tables and two charts, and now I want to add a slicer so that I can demonstrate how I can filter all of this at once in sync. And let me just clean these charts up a bit. So we'll give them a title. This one, flight delays, and this one, flight cancellations. Let's just line these up a little bit better. Just because I'm pretty zoomed in here for the video. Okay, and now we can turn this into a dynamic dashboard and add our slicers. So just give this a quick title, flights dashboard. And slicers are portable, full-featured filters that can be moved anywhere in the workbook. And you can add a slicer to source data, and that dynamically filters everything that references the source data. So to add my slicers, I'll go back to my source data, click in my connected table, and go to Data, Create Slicer, and I'll select each column I want to create a slicer for. So we'll do carrier, origin, and departure time. Click Apply, and I have each of my slicers, and I can select these and cut and paste them into my dashboard sheet. And I can just move these to line them up how I want them. Okay, and I can also rename these. So we'll call this airline, and we'll call this one airport. And we'll call this last one departure time, just to clean it up a bit more. Okay, now I can filter my slicers, and everything in my dashboard will dynamically update in sync. So I'm going to set airline to Delta. You can see my charts and my pivot tables update dynamically. Set airport to Atlanta. And again, everything updates dynamically. And then finally, I'm going to set departure time to, let's do the morning. So we'll add a condition for greater than 5 a.m. and less than noon. You can see I can add multiple conditions because this is a full-featured filter. And everything is dynamically updating in sync as I'm changing my slicers. And at any time, I can go back to my source data and rerun my query, or I can schedule auto updates. So let's update this every day at 5 a.m. And every time this runs, it's going to update everything in my spreadsheet, including the dashboard with all the filters applied. And while I showed this with a connected table, this would also work with a file upload. Just need to make sure that filters are applied, and I could even import or append an updated file, and everything would update dynamically. So as you can see, Row Zero makes it very easy to use slicers to filter multiple pivot tables and charts at once in a big spreadsheet. You can try row zero for free at row0.io and see why row zero is the best spreadsheet for big data.